Hi, let's talk about economy in light of new research in physics and what we need to do in society. Capitalist economy, for sure. Politically, socio-politically, socialism, communism, democracy, things like that. In the physics, we have a robust entanglement, an understanding of nature that we have never had. It's going to give us free energy. We can control atomic motion. And in this new physics, what is described is a type of exchange or communication. Something is created from nothing. A field is produced, and then fields are produced on top of fields in this robust entanglement. So in this free energy market or economy, we'll be able to do things much easier and better and faster, and clean up environments, and clean up atmospheres, and solve climate change, and do a number of things. And but also too, as people, we can finally do some things to correct naughty things that have been done. In the 1600s, I believe, the corporations were formed to protect wealthy investors from the slave trade, losses in the slave trade. This is an awful form of business, one where you build leverages, remove, yourself from transactions, build distance between people. We teach that to our children. We're dividing families, and we're dividing and conquering in the environment, the air, water, land, our climate, and all of our social structures, or family and education system. We're dividing and conquering that. We're teaching our children to, hate in the videos that they watch, and in the movies, but we're empowering them to disrupt the family, to question parents' authority, to be naughty. And that part of that's because we've gotten rid of religion in schools. We need to put it back. So we put religion back in schools, and frankly, the physics that we are finding finds notions of God. Okay, something is created from nothing. It helps us to understand ourselves as being more spiritual beings, where we understand the physical essence of faith and prayer. These are real concepts now. So finding God is up to the individual or person in prayer, and I believe personally, you can find God. I believe I find God when I pray. But so the corporate form of business is too destructive. It pushes people away. It doesn't represent true exchange. And so it builds an economy that's not true exchange, and is very destructive. So we need to return to what we had before, which is family business, where interpersonal relationships develop, networking, connections, not necessarily a monetary exchange, but monetary for sure, to facilitate exchange. But in family-run rural environments, you have much more than that. Sharing and barter type things. But we definitely need to keep business. It's going to flourish in the absence of corporations and corporate or capital economies. Let's see. The other thing we need to do is invert the hierarchy of power in governments. And we're going to do this because there's just too much naughtiness, too much egocentrism, too much corruption that goes when the people at the top control the decisions. We're going to, let's say in the United States, we're going to invert that. So the way that would look is governors would convene to decide issues at the federal level. And what that would look like for a president, he wouldn't have any real power. He would be the person that gave talks and speeches to the governors and to all of us about the issues, and what are the issues, and what are possible solutions. And then the people below him would vote for that, would vote, for specific issues and policies to implement. But then the board of governors wouldn't make all the decisions, because the people at the municipal level would convene to decide what they were going to decide. Okay, and they would in turn would give speeches and talks about things that are happening at the state level, and then the people in municipalities, cities, would convene to decide what those outcomes would be for each issue and policy. And then at the local level, we would decide how those mayors would vote for any specific issue. So it would cascade. Yes, it would slow the process down, and that's good. There's just too much corruption, too much legislation. We do not need as much legislation as we have. We have too much naughtiness. Most of this has to do with corporate law, trying to build ethics and morality in the absence of interpersonal relationship. Okay? We've lost ourselves. So we're going to invert the hierarchy of power in all governments. This is worldwide. This is in Europe and Asia, Russia. We're going to find our humanity, our morality, our ethics. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to hold public hearings for crimes against humanity and nature. For at least every CEO, all corporate boards and officers, vice presidents, major investors, wealthy families. Public hearing. And why would we do this? So that we can rejoice. And we can learn what's been done, what people have been doing. Hold them accountable. Learn from our mistakes. Learn what is right and what's wrong. Right is not what we do to get away with something. Right is taught to us in our religion. Now, this physics reinforces notions of God. Something is created from nothing. Reinforces notions of faith. Faith is a type of observation. And when you have physical processes that are happening instantly, anything instant is now available to watch what then slowly develops in electrochemical action potentials and sensory perception. So we have notion of faith and prayer. When we think, fields are being created. When we pray, that's a type of directed thought. We're actually influencing those around us and ourselves in prayer. Personally, for myself, I pray to God, and things happen, like this cross was draped over the back of my pickup truck a day after I prayed for help after a horrible divorce. So I believe in God, and I think that you can too. But we're going to build a society in light of this new physics that gives us free energy, where everything is going to transform and change anyway. But we're going to do some things to correct all the naughtiness that's been done. Outlaw corporations, invert the hierarchy of power in governments worldwide, hold public hearings for crimes against humanity and nature. What, our corporate friends dumping oil into waterways, chemicals into waterways, piping and pumping pollution into the air without any control. None of us know what's going on, but we're going to find out. I think that's all for now.